By the time I release this video, there will probably be like 4 dozen videos on YouTube of multiclassed Hexblade characters. I am going to show you one, but I'm going to spend the first part of the video explaining why that's the case. Ever since the Hexblade was introduced to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, there have been Hexblade multiclassers all over the internet. And for very good reason. It's not like people are just jumping on the bandwagon as such. It's just such a strong multiclass. Even just one level completely changes your character. So I took 1 level in Sorcerer. I'll show you the rest of the build later. I took 1 level in Sorcerer because I wanted proficiency in Constitution saving throws, and now I'm taking my 1 level in Warlock, and I've chosen the Hexblade. One of the reasons is we get access to Eldritch Blast. It's kind of nice. It's a decent enough cantrip. That's not really what I want access to. What I really like is Booming Blade. Now, as a Sorcerer, I do have access to most of these cantrips anyway, but you might not want to use a Hexblade with a Sorcerer. This is just one build, one example. But for 1 level, we get so much brought to the table. First of all, we've got proficiencies down here. All weapons, simple weapons, martial weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields. This is far better than 1 feat already. You need 1 feat for light armor and then 1 for medium and shields. We get proficiency in all the weapons. That's all good. It's a good start. But the really nice thing is we only need 1 level in Warlock. It's one of the classes that gets their subclass at level 1. So we get all these bonuses with just 1 level. But what really changes the character is this Hex Warrior, the Bind Hex weapon. Here we are. You become proficient with the weapon if you weren't already. I'm struggling to think of a case where that would be true in Baldur's Gate 3, because as a Hexblade, you are proficient with simple weapons and martial weapons anyway. In case there's a weapon I haven't thought of or found or was added later, it lets you become proficient with it. When you attack with this weapon, there's a chance that Hexblade's curse will be applied. This is really nice because it adds damage, proficiency bonus and damage, and reduces the number needed for a critical hit by 1, which stacks with all the other things like that. But that's not what changes the whole character. What changes the whole character is this bit here. It uses your charisma modifier. So no longer do I have to worry about having a high strength if I'm wielding a melee weapon that isn't finesse. I don't need a high dexterity for finesse weapons. I can just pump everything into charisma. So any class that uses charisma or their spellcasting ability modifier anyway, bards, sorcerers, paladins, they're going to benefit from this. We do also get access to shields. It's kind of nice. As a sorcerer, I can already have access to that, but you know, as a bard I don't, as a paladin I wouldn't, so that's nice to have. And we get Wrathful Smite. I don't particularly care about that, if I'm honest. I'm going to go with Hex. That's all I need to take in Warlock. Having a 2 level dip in Warlock is also not a bad choice, because then we can pick 2 Eldritch Invocations. Devil Sight could be a good one. If you're going to build upon Eldritch Blast, then yes, I would also take Agonizing Blast. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make the rest of my build. I'm going to go in Paladin for now. I'm just going to use Oath of the Crown. The build I'm going to show you, I've not thought very much about it. I come up with it just as I went along in 5 minutes. I've done some practice with it, yes, but it's not difficult to come up with these things. I'm picking Oath of the Crown just because it's new. This is a level 12 build for Act 3. I wouldn't go through the game in this order of levels. I would be respecing at certain points. You want to usually pick 5 levels in 1 class first. It's a very common thing, or 1 Warlock, and then continuing with Paladin. Target yourself or an ally to additionally grant the target proficiency bonus to their attack rolls. That's going to be nice to use. You can use that ahead of time. By Act 3, that's an extra +4. And I will probably be using that. Fighting style, I'm going to go with defense because I'm not going to be wielding a 2-handed weapon. But if you are wielding a 2-handed weapon, great weapon fighting is not a bad choice at all. Oddly, I found this earlier when Patch 8 released also. When I get to level 3, I have to add 2 spells here. It doesn't really matter what they are. For the feat now, I've gone with an odd number in dexterity and charisma at level 1 because I know I want to do this. However, if you're the sort of person who likes to use the Hag's Hair, I would probably just leave dexterity at 14. This will be at 18 already. Maybe take alert. If not, put charisma up to 20. So at a very minimum, you want 5 levels in Paladin, so we get 2 attacks per turn. But I really like Aura of Protection, so I'm going to take 6 levels in Paladin. Some of you might not want to, and that's okay. You stay at level 5, because after this, everything else is going back into Sorcerer. And the reason for that is just to get as many spell slots as possible for as much smiting as possible. The spells here are not too important for the Sorcerer. Wind and Extended will do. One absolutely essential item for this build is Shadowblade. I'm going to be using the combination of Shadowblade and the Gloves of Battle Mage's Power, just like in the video I released before earlier. Meta Magic quickened for the cantrip. By this point, it doesn't matter too much. I picked a Shadow Sorcerer just because it's new, not because it's like absolutely essential or anything. Hold Person is going to be important for us here. For the second and final feat, Charisma up to 20. We want that as high as possible because it affects just about everything we do. Then at level 5, maybe Haste. Maybe we can cast Haste on ourselves. I'm going to try that out. So I'm going to cast Aura of Protection. So now my Constitution saving throws, I've got a plus 15. I think I'll be maintaining concentration. I'm going to quickly go through the... in fact, before I go through the items, I'm going to cast Shadowblade. I'm going to cast it at level 3 because then it does an extra 1d8 per swing. And this is the point where we want to bind the Hex weapon. This is just to make sure that we can't lose it. And it uses our Charisma modifier. So I had to look around what was in my bag. I just picked out these items, starting from the top. Saravok's Horned Helmet. We get Dark Vision if we didn't already have it. Well, I'm half elf, so it did. So the range of it goes up to 15 meters. The number we need for a critical hit is reduced by 1 further. We can't be frightened. Constitution saving throws +1. The Cloak of Protection to up our armor class. This is one of my favorite medium armors in the game because we get bonus to initiative rolls. Awesome. We've got resistance to fire damage and a +2 bonus to saving throws. That's very strong on top of having the Aura Protection here. The Gloves of Battle Mage's Power. When you hit a weapon with a spell or cantrip that uses a weapon, you gain Arcane Acuity. Well, we're going to be gaining Arcane Acuity left, right, and center. Integrating Nightwalkers. They're going to be a good choice for any character. This is just to make sure we don't fall over. And we get 1 extra use of Misty Step. Not extra use, we get a use of Misty Step. Amulet of the Harpers. Advantage on Wisdom saving throws because we will be having disadvantage at the same time. But at least they cancel each other out. Ring of Elemental Infusion. When you deal acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage with a spell or cantrip, that's going to be with Booming Blade. The element infuses a weapon, so next time it does an extra 1d4 damage. That's not a particularly strong thing because I can only do that once per turn. The Band of Mystic Scoundrel. This is going to be amazing. This is going to make us so good. After hitting a creature with a weapon attack, which we are going to be doing as a paladin, you can cast illusion or enchantment spells as a bonus action. It's not just me, lots of people have shown this off before. Got our Shadowblade. The Sentinel Shield, this is for the +3 bonus to initiative rolls. I don't really care about the rest of it if I'm honest. So our initiative bonus is +3 from dexterity, +2 from the medium armor, and +3 from the shield. So we're at +8. Thank you very much. And the dead shot, I'm not going to be using ranged attacks. I'm really just holding this to make the number needed for a critical hit to go down by 1. So without the Hexblade's Curse, we're down at an 18 is what is needed for a critical hit. Hitting an enemy while they have the Hexblade's Curse, that goes down to 17. So we're coming to my favorite place here. Just going to get Astarion to try and disarm this. I'm still going to get him to disarm it because they'll come and try and turn it on. Alright, there we are. Now I will point out, I just happened to find a good save file. I do have the Resonance Stone from the end of Act 2. Let's send that to... They're called Quarterstaff. I did use this person for a build video earlier. I didn't change their name or appearance. So in the first turn, because I know I struggle a little bit with hitting these guys, they've got an armor class of 19. The one downside to Shadowblade, it doesn't provide any sort of enchantment bonus. Normally by now, I'm using a +2 or +3 weapon, which would really increase the chance to hit. So I'm going to use Righteous Clarity. It's now at 75%. And I'm going to use Haste. That increases my armor class even further to 24 now. I guess they're not obscured yet, which is a shame. Right, let's use Booming Blade. Now, I've got my 2 turns of Arcane Acuity from hitting someone. Oh, goodbye. I've now got 6 turns of Arcane Acuity. What I need to do, I kind of forgot to do this. Let's make sure it asks about critical hits and smites. I'm glad I killed that one though. That paladins are mean, man. Right. I haven't shown you the true power of this Saw Lockerdin yet. Alright, the Shadowblade bonus seems to be applying now. I've got advantage on these attacks. So, what am I going to start with? I'm going to start with a Boom Blade. Didn't mean to get a critical hit. Because what I want to show you is that even kind of with only 7 stacks of arcane acuity. But with the resonance stone, I'm going to use command flee. They are now destined to die. As soon as they move, Booming Blade will proc. Right, let's go for the next person. Another critical hit with Hexblade's curse. Goodbye. And just to make sure that we don't run out of enemies to fight, I'm gonna go and grab some more. There we are. Siren can just hang out there, and then... Oh, they didn't flee. They should have died, right. The only downside to concentrating on haste is I can't concentrate on a whole person, so I'm gonna have to continue going against these guys.
If the gods are watching me.
I just keep coming out with critical hits. Obviously that's good, but it means these guys die a bit too quickly, really. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use command once again, but I'm going to use level 2. And I'm going to try and make both of them flee. Oh dear, only 40 damage. So yeah, I mean, this is... Oh, damn it, I hate it when that thing goes off. And I'm barely using the other characters here, to be honest. I'm just going to try and disarm this with Shadowheart. Hey. Oh, there goes Booming Blade. That's what I was trying to make happen earlier. Goodbye. Now, I don't want to use up all my spell slots straight away, so perhaps I don't actually want to use command this time. But the point is, with the Band of Mystic Scoundrel, it's a possibility. Constitution saving throw successful. Though to be fair, I did roll an 18. I rolled 33. I think I'm safe. It'd be very difficult for me to fail. And they ran away anyway. Also want to point out, I can use Eldritch Blast. Now, it's not as good. It's only going to do like 3d10 damage when it hits. So would much rather use my weapon here. Oops. Even with a 94% chance to hit. The Resonant Stone just makes Shadowblade ridiculous. This isn't even the highest level Shadowblade it could have cast. Although actually with this character it was. But you know, you can cast it at level 5 and 6. And I seem to keep rolling critical hits in this recording, which is obviously very nice. So even opportunity attacks can be devastating. I don't think I need to use a spell slot, so I'm not going to. I am going to finish this guy off. There we are. Exactly what I wanted. So you let me know on your thoughts on the Hexblades. Do you think it's kind of a bit of a curse? A Hexblades curse? Is it a bit of a plague among builds? I've got a feeling we're going to see a lot of Hexblades builds from now on. But you let me know what you think. What builds would you make? What builds did you use from 5th edition that you found really, really useful, really good? Thank you for watching, and to all the members of my channel. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.